Saturday morning. Wow. Woo. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. Mike Powell fumbling through the headset to get things started this morning.
Fumbling, stumbling.
Rumbling.
To paraphrase
Boomer. Welcome to Sports Talk, the only place where you will hear that Chaminade Madonna beat St. Andrews last night, 70-0.
Wow.
You see that score?
70-0.
How would you like to play for Chaminade Madonna?
Well, it depends on where it is.
I don't know where it is. When you go.
Well, I remember Chaminade, the university that defeated Ralph Sampson in Virginia in Hawaii way back.
Okay, so now give me the connection.
Chaminade.
Same name. Yeah. Madonna.
It's in Hollywood, Florida.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that Chaminade was it in Hawaii?
Hawaii, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Chaminades everywhere.
Yeah.
Chaminades here, there, everywhere.
And they were always were they in the Maui Classic?
They probably hosted it.
Yeah.
Probably hosted it,
yeah. Does that still go on?
I do not know.
Yeah, starts next week.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, North Carolina played Hawaii last night.
Are we
very
going?
late, but I guess that was not part of any tournament.
No, it's not, but they're...
I've not seen anything about it. I'm gonna guess here. 93-58.
I wasn't that bad.
Was it not?
No.
Okay. I did. Now I lied. I said I did not see anything about it. I saw it like when it was 4-2 maybe. And that was it. Because I do remember seeing those funky green
Oh, yeah, they were
uniforms.
Yeah, those green uniforms
wasn't that
of Hawaii. Oh, yeah.
Would you not be mad you had to go out there and play in that on national television?
I don't like green anyway.
Certain greens I do like.
Okay.
I really do. Like, usually forest green.
Yeah.
The
No, I
darker.
don't like that bright.
The darker, the
Yeah.
better.
Right.
But, I like
Irish green.
Yeah, the Irish green is fine. The Green Bay Packers shade of green.
I like. That's
I like
okay.
the Michigan State green.
And love the old Eagles Kelly green on those uniforms.
Yeah, there's so many shades of green.
There are.
Now, what Hawaii wore last night?
There's 50 shades of gray. I bet you knew that. I don't know how many there are of green, but there's at least 50 shades of gray.
That's what they say.
Yeah. 50 shades of gray just seem dull and boring, don't they?
Yep.
We got a lot to talk about this morning. I want to start with what we talked about last night the most on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
Was last night the biggest upset in high school football in your lifetime?
Now, that's a sweeping statement.
That's big.
That's
big. Do you remember any high school football game that was – and you don't just go by the seeding, okay, because East Rutherford knocked off Reedsville last night at Reedsville. The final score was, can you help me?
27-26.
27-26.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was 31-20. Okay, I'm thinking of another game.
Yep. 27-26. It was weird because a couple extra points were missed down the stretch.
Yeah.
And a 2-point conversion had to be, I guess that Reedsville probably wishes they'd never gone for that 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it could have finished. It could have worked out where it finished 27.
No, it wouldn't have.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay. But anyway, seeding, I'm not just going by seeding here, but it was a 17 beating a 1. But what I'm going by is a program that did not have varsity football 3 years ago.
2021. That's right.
And now they knock off the number 1 seed in high school football on the road.
Who is the coach? Somebody tell me.
Philip Russ is what.
Oh, that's right, Philip Russ.
Yeah, Philip Russ is what.
Who once played American
last
Legion
night.
Baseball for Post 100.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Coach Reynolds, who was longtime baseball coach, whose son is now baseball coach at East
Obviously.
Rutherford. Just a big-time connection there.
Big connection with those two.
Between the two. But when do you there's very rarely high football upsets, minor ones, in high school.
Not that many.
Usually the best team just always comes out on top. It's not like the NFL. It's not like even like college football where you can have, a lot of people still consider Appalachian beating Michigan as the top upset
Yeah, it's
in
still the
college football.
benchmark. Yeah.
It wouldn't be today because what we know about App
Yeah,
now, if they
right.
beat somebody like that today, it wouldn't be near as good.
Nope.
Okay, Hooks, here's the deal. Hooks says East Rutherford is real good, seen them earlier in the year. North Lincoln beat them, though, by a point. Their defense now is so much better than it was at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, they were in the games, but they were trying to outscore you. You know, I think that game wound up both teams in the 50s.
Yeah.
Today, their defense is much improved, and they pull off a major shocker last night on the road, knocking off Reidsville.
Reidsville only scored 2 offensive touchdowns.
Wow.
And they ran back 2 fumbles for their other 2.
Yeah, like 30
touchdowns.
seconds apart.
Yeah.
Oh, those are gimmies then. So their offense only scored twice.
Yeah, East Rutherford dominated the game.
And that's amazing.
They had a 21-0 lead in the second half.
Yeah, they did. Up 21-0. Because when we saw 7-0, we didn't think much of it. Reidsville just hadn't cranked up yet, you know. Then we saw 14-0.
And you start
keeps getting later, you know. Goes to halftime. I think the 21 come in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's when you think, well, this thing might happen. Or at that point, you really think it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Reidsville scores 3 times like in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Just in a flash, they scored those 3 touchdowns, and it seemed like East Rutherford started to collapse to the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I guess it was Reidsville that collapsed to the real pressure because, you know, going in there was none on East Rutherford. But I just don't remember a high school game I can compare to that. And especially with it happening in the playoffs.
Well, it's not on the same magnitude probably because of Reidsville's reputation. But go back to 91? 5-5 East Lincoln team goes up to the mountains and beats an undefeated Pisgah team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big one, but
Well, you can say this too. East Rutherford's been on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Brevard, Brett, that went to East Rutherford. Was a 1?
No, it was East Rutherford winning that one.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
East Rutherford. Okay, that's right. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were the 16 and went on the road and beat the 1, and that was Brevard, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
I mean, you went to Wilkes County. Watched Lincoln beat Wilkes Central or West Wilkes.
Not much of an upset though.
16 over 1.
Mm-mm.
No.
Was it not?
I don't think so.
No, it couldn't have been because that wasn't even the first round.
Yeah, it was.
Was it the first round? Was it 16
It
and
might
1?
have been. I think it might have been.
I didn't
Really?
think that was a 16 and a 1.
It was the memory of
But-
the motorcycle people bringing the cheerleaders in.
Now, wait a minute. You got a whole different game now. You said Wilkes Central,
It's West Wilkes.
and that was West Wilkes.
West Wilkes.
Yeah.
West Wilkes.
Yeah, that might have been a 16 and 1. Wilkes Central was like in the semifinals of the West.
Yeah, well,
They were like 5-5 or something.
we've been to Wilkes Central a couple times. That West
Yeah,
Wilkes
that's what
was,
got me confused. Was Wilkes Central.
They were definitely a real high seed. I don't remember if they were a 1 or not, but that, yeah, I think if you looked at that game all week, you probably thought Lincoln could beat West Wilkes.
The
that
speed
year.
was the difference in that game.
Yeah.
Yep, the speed was the difference. Yeah, when you said the motorcycles, then I remembered. Yeah, that's West Wilkes. There's a lot of Wilkes up there, a north, a east, a west, everything but south, I think.
Right.
They don't come close to. Don't worry, Guilford County. They don't come close to touching you in directional schools.
Do you know whose album
There are
on North
quite a
Wilkes
few.
is?
Yes, I do, Mike. We mention it every time they come up.
Okay.
Mike's brother, Brian Hanks.
Brian Hanks.
Brian, what was you going to call him?
If you're listening out there, Brian.
What were you going to call him? That's what I want to know. Brian Holmes, Brian Hanks. Let's see. Reidsville Hook says Reidsville has a 46-yard. Reidsville had a 46-yard quarterback scamper for a touchdown called back due to a penalty.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
The next play, Brett was telling me this happened. The next play, East Rutherford made an interception right after.
Yeah, and on that long run that was called back, the flag was down the field, so he still got the first down and got it down to maybe the 25 or 30.
Right.
And so it was still 1st and 10. It wasn't like the interception was in a desperate situation. It was first down, and he threw one out wide, and each other defensive back just read it and stepped in front of it and picked it off, and that was it.
Good morning to Hooks. Good morning, Jaden Angle. Jaden says North looked good with a question mark. Last night they were dominant. That game was the game for North Lincoln last night was 3 minutes in, it was over. 3 minutes in, it was over last night. I want to read what Marty Holbrook says. He's talking about Bunker Hill. And
thanks for giving me my lead for the paper.
What'd I say?
3 minutes into the game, it was over. I'm going to use that, I believe, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. And I'm trying to think how can that relate to a song? There's got to be something to do. With 3 minutes in, it was over. Let's make sure we keep that strictly to sports.
Oh, yeah.
With Mike Powell's writing. I went to Bunker Hill. This is Marty's message from last night. Another heartbreaker. Bunker Hill had missed a field goal, had a touchdown call back, but eventually led 8-0. Then in the second quarter, they threw a pass that was ruled a lateral. Brevard recovered it. So, a pass that hit the ground ruled a lateral. You know what? There's a lot of those, in my opinion, that don't get called.
Mm-hmm.
Way more in high school football that happen that don't get called than the ones that do. They just assume that they were forward, but a lot of times you watch them and they're not. Brevard recovers it, scoring to make it 8-7. Then they went back and forth for a while. It says here at one point in the fourth, Cole Lineberger for Bunker Hill fumbled in the end zone. Another play that was interesting in the third quarter, questionable pass interference on Jason Willis, called on a 3rd down and 10. Next play, Brevard makes me wonder what the maybe I shouldn't even mention that. What the Bandy's folks think about that Phantom.
Well, I was going to say Bunker Hill played a home game and they didn't get all the calls. A little surprising.
Well, I don't know about that.
Here's another observation from the game. Marty Holbrook on Facebook. At the Bunker Hill game, both sides cheered when they heard the results of the Reedsville game. Might be the first time I've ever heard two sides get that happy over another game.
You know what? Okay, how many 2A stadiums did that happen in?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, well, but that one, that's the next opponent for whoever won that game.
Yeah.
And it meant they were going to be playing at home, whoever won that game.
Right.
So
True.
they had more reason.
More reason to cheer.
Yeah.
But I think Reedsville.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Reedsville being the giant, you
Yeah.
know, nobody can stand the team that
I bet
wins all
Shelby
the
was
time.
happy.
I'm going to bet the 22 fans in attendance were just standing up and cheering loudly. I'm just picking there, Shelby. We always talk about Shelby for the tradition they have that they just don't fill it up.
We need to ask Bush.
They're just spoiled.
We need to ask Bush what kind of crowd
He sent me a
Shelby
text
has.
last night and said
Did you say?
66 people.
They just don't come out.
Yeah.
They just don't. It's so blasé over there.
Blasé.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and finish more of Marty's message here this morning. Next play, Brevard on a play action pass. Let's see, down to the 10. Then here we go. Then in the fourth quarter, it was 3rd down, and Brevard leading with the ball on the Bunker Hill 30. Bunker tackles the running back while breaking a tackle. Fumbles the ball. The official blew the whistle as Bunker was scooping and scoring. That changes things.
Yeah.
The score was 37-23 at that point. Then with the score 37-29, less than 2 minutes to play, Bunker Hill got to the 10-yard line and threw an interception.
Mm-hmm.
In case you wanted to know. Absolutely want to know. I like details like that.
And they were down, 37-15?
Yeah, they made
got that
they
close.
made another
They
really
got within
good
10
comeback.
yards.
They
so.
did make another really good comeback to get in that and have a chance.
Yeah.
Because they were led most of the first half, I think. It seemed like it stayed 8-0 for quite a while. And then I do remember the score popping up that it was 8-7.
Yeah.
And then Marty might can answer this. It seemed like that Bunker Hill scored 3 touchdowns, not Bunker Hill, but Brevard, 3 touchdowns like just in a flash.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because we saw it go from a couple point lead up to two or three touchdowns, and real fast. But that's what happens in some of these games. Sometimes a little bit of I don't want to call it meltdown because that's not exactly what it is, but momentum swings.
Yep.
Sometimes momentum swings can really, last a little longer than you want, and all of a sudden you find yourself down 2 or 3 scores in a hurry. Scott said only 35 people at Bessemer City must have all been at South Point last night. Not too many now. He said that the Robbinsville side had a decent crowd.
Yeah.
Long tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like
they
that.
Travel.
But
nobody from Bessemer cared.
Yeah. And who in the world would have thought, while we're on this, and we're going to get to some other stuff and save our high school football, but who would have thought that South Point would lose 2 games in one season, go 10-2, and both losses be to Ashbrook? Hats off to Ashbrook.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people didn't have confidence in them doing this one time. And then
certainly no one did.
Speaking of the question of the morning, Mike, you already asked it one time. Who is the coach?
Yeah. I don't know.
The Green Wave.
Yeah.
Who is getting it done down there? Because it has been a major turnaround.
It's a former player, I'm pretty sure.
It's been a major turnaround this year.
Yeah.
A young former player. Let's see.
Yeah, give him his props.
Well,
Darius James, according to Max Prep.
Darius James.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, they always have talent.
Familiar.
They always have talent at Ashbrook.
Sure.
They have athletes,
sure.
but they for years and just hadn't quite been able to get it all together. But boy, that's huge.
It
for
is.
them.
Yes, it is huge.
I mean, is this bigger than winning the Victory Bell over Huss for them?
Without a doubt, right now. I mean, because they're in the third round of the playoffs.
Third round, of course.
Yeah, they're in the third round of the playoffs, and they will play at North Lincoln. North Lincoln, by virtue of that game, gets a home game now.
And I got to look back in history, maybe Hooks or somebody. Has North Lincoln ever hosted a game this deep in the playoffs?
I would say Burns.
They did host Burns.
They had an overtime game, and it might have been the third round.
Okay. But they did host that one. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They hosted Burns, and they lost in overtime. A terrific football game.
Yeah.
A couple years back.
I do remember that now.
Yep. But I cannot remember if it was what round it was.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing it was at least third.
I don't know what year it was.
I'm going to guess 4 years ago.
Sheldon Abernathy asked us for a prediction on Facebook. North or Ashbrook next week? ?
Lincoln Times News on Friday.
Check the Lincoln Times News on Friday. But don't go by my picks, because I was terrible.
Yeah, it was the third round.
Friday.
It was the third round,
yeah.
So there's your answer, Mike. It was third round as well.
Thank you very much.
And I think that year, I think it was the third round out of 4.
Yeah.
In the West, and not third round out of 5 like this
5.
year. So it's really deeper. That was deeper than they are right now.
Yep. That's true.
I can go ahead and throw Shelton my pick out there. I'm going with the home team and the momentum they had last night. I think it carries over.
I'm inclined to as well.
I think it carries over. A lot of people were looking forward to a South Point North Lincoln matchup because the teams kind of mirror image each other.
Yeah, same offense.
And but that would have been on the road for North Lincoln, but I think with the way they play and the things they do, they don't really care if they're on the road or at home. It really, usually the running game and the defense travels.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And it also works in. I don't know what the weather will be. Next Friday. Yeah. It also works in cold or inclement weather.
But I do think that here's the thing, I think it'll be close.
Yeah,
because Ashbrook has got to
really
play against
defense.
and they've got to play against that offense twice.
Yeah,
playing South Point.
That's right.
Very similar offenses.
They know the offense.
But I if I had to pick right now on the spot, and I would go with North Lincoln.
Well, you look at what they've done since that Hickory game, which I didn't know it. The stat guy for North Lincoln.
Roger.
Roger Cranford. He said that in that game against Hickory, they had 6 turnovers, but they also had like 350 yards rushing. against Hickory.
They did.
Nobody's really slowed down North Lincoln's offense that much this year.
Yep. And let's go ahead and give hats off to Hickory while you got their name out there, because here they are. They're still – how many in a row is it now, Brett?
I lost count.
Yeah, it's got to be around 30.
28.
28? Yeah. Rolled again last night. I didn't, Statesville played them fairly close that first meeting.
Yeah.
It seems like anybody that Hickory plays twice,
they
scorch that second time, and they did last night. There was never any doubt in that one last night.
Nope.
As Hickory keeps it rolling. It is 28. Is that what you're 16 and then 16 and 12? So
what's the current longest streak in the state in high school?
28.
28.
Unless you can tell me. I don't know if it is or not.
No, what's Mount Airy?
About
I know what Mount Airy's
Mount Airy's
won.
yeah.
I don't know if they lost last year.
I don't think they did. And they're two-time.
Yeah.
They've won back-to-back, so they may be.
They're 12-0 this year.
Okay.
They were 16-0 last year, so that's 28.
That's their 28.
Yep.
And then before that,
they had to win the game for the state championship, so they got the long.
they lost.
Got a
They lost their second game that year, 2 years ago. So add 14 to that, 42 in a row.
42 straight.
Pretty
for Mount
impressive.
Airy. 42 straight for Mount Airy, who will be in the 3A with the new realignment. And when I say 3A, very similar to large 2A.
Yeah.
What used to be called, or small 2A. Very similar to small 2A.
Yep.
And what used to be the subdivided playoffs.
The great thing, though, about this new deal, in the old way, it was just for football. Now it's for every sport, correct?
Yes,
the 8 days.
Mike.
Okay.
Yes, Mike. You remember that word, that lawsuit?
Yep.
It will never happen again
Never
where it's
happen
just
again.
one sport. No, never happen again.
Marty Holbrook.
20 years that happened.
Marty Holbrook expects a Hickory versus Dudley rematch in the Western
That'll be a
Final.
great one. That will be. It was great last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people might forget that Dudley could easily won that game last year. It was a great football game.
Yeah,
in the rain.
In the rain.
That's must-see football right there. If they do, are they one win away from that happening?
No,
2 wins.
Two wins.
Couple.
Yeah.
It would be the Western Final.
Hickory's going to have to beat Crest,
Which won't be easy.
and then they'll have to beat the winner of North Lincoln and Ashbrook to get to that Western Final.
Mm-hmm.
Dudley, I don't know who they have to beat next week, but the week after that, most likely West Charlotte. Dudley would have to beat to get to that point.
Yeah, and let's not forget about West Charlotte.
Don't rest.
Oh, it's J.M. Robinson. I think that's who Dudley plays next week.
Okay.
So, yeah, neither one of them have an easy road to
Who
get to that
absolutely
point.
rolled over Kings Mountain.
The 3A's got
3A
eight
is-
really good teams
the
left
3A
in the
is
West.
loaded
It is.
from now on.
I mean, there were really good teams that lost last night in 3A.
Yeah.
Yes, there were. And some of those may never meet each other in the playoffs again
No.
with the new realignment around the corner. Ned says, morning, very few second-round close games. Looked at NCHSAA PDF, 4 classes, 64 games, few scores not reported, 7 points or less. 1A had 1, 2A had 2, 3A had 3. So what did 4A have? It also had 3. Trick question. That's good. I like that. I like that research. Now, it is weird that there's not that many one-score games, isn't it?
Yeah.
64 games. Let's see. Let me get to where I was at again. Total of 9 of the 64 were decided by 7 or less. Well, I'm not going to have you redo it, Ned, but you ought to do 8 or less.
Yeah, well, we know Bunker Hill lost by 8. and
Because
that's a
8 is still
game.
one possession.
That's still one possession.
Again, very few scores. A few scores not reported on their brackets. Hook says 2019. I think he's talking about the Burns
game.
visiting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hook. So
Yeah.
put that
And I
much
think that would have been
5 years ago.
there would have been large and small that year, right? 5 years ago,
there
yeah.
would have been. Yep. Lenny, good morning, STG guys. I think the Burns North Lincoln game was the fall before COVID. in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got
Got it.
got that confirmed as well.
Yeah, and I was with you on the broadcast.
No, I'm not.
For that
I'm
one.
not gonna. I'm not.
Where was
I don't
that?
want to knock on anybody.
I think you were in Colowee.
Was it?
I think so.
Smoky Mountain, Irwin last night. Phil Ayers shows me a picture of the scoreboard. Was that the final? Well, no, it wasn't the final. I see what he's saying now. With 8:43 to go, it was just a 20-14 game. And it wound up. What did it wind up? A 3-touchdown.
35
Is it 35-14
14
or
or
21?
35-21. Yeah.
And he says the game, the game was seemed closer than the score might indicate.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of them, you have to start taking chances
Yep.
late. You have to start taking chances late if you're going to have a chance to come back and pull off a comeback win.
Yeah, 35-14 was the final.
Yep. It's amazing how some of these games will end just like the Reidsville game last night. With all these touchdowns, a flurry of touchdowns coming in the final minutes because teams are desperate. Both sides might be desperate, but and that being one of them right there. Irwin is the top seed, too.
Yeah.
Irwin is the top seed. So
Does
everybody
anybody
in the
really
West-
believe Irwin? I mean,
Do I think
Yeah.
they'll be there? No,
Yeah.
I don't. There's just
Yeah.
too much.
I think this is it for them. I don't think they beat West Charlotte next week.
yeah, I know.
West Charlotte to Asheville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good little,
That'll be
little
tough.
trip.
That'll be tough. And here's the
And
sad
if it's
thing.
30 degrees and snowing or raining, I don't know. Maybe that could
Well, they need to
Might
order
happen.
that up.
play into Irwin's.
Here's the
favor.
sad thing about it, though, Brett. You and I both know this. That West Charlotte is 8A size, which is large 4A right now, but still playing in the 3A playoffs because they've grown so. And I don't know how they've grown. Did
How
they
have
move
they
the lines?
grown?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well, you can't blame them for that.
no,
Just
you can't blame
the
them
state.
for it. They do what they do. That's exactly right. But most time, it used to be a thing you could ask to move down before realignment if you drop 10%. It's the old Tuscola thing. If you drop at least 10%,
Yeah.
and fall into the range of numbers to be in that class. Well, why aren't they bumping up schools that grow? You can go ahead and stay in the same conference you're in, but come playoff time, we're going to put you in the
Yeah.
the
And half their
class you
conference
belong
is
in.
4A anyway. So,
Yeah.
it wouldn't like they'd be the.
No, they could just
odd
say
team out,
They could just
but-
say right now you're a 4A school. But I thought that was some of the guys that's been around a long time might be able to tell me why they don't do that. I thought that was just a thing that they did do. Not that I haven't been around a long time, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those that have been around longer than me. Why I'm just surprised that they still let you play if you grew that much and still play in the same
'Cause that's
classification.
an advantage.
Well, yes.
course.
I mean, I don't know how many students they've added.
Well,
what would you say they've added?
What
in that
about
time?
Monroe's
1,000?
numbers?
Yeah, Monroe's off the
Playing,
charts
they're
too.
playing in 2A, and they're going to be in 6A
Yeah.
next year.
Either way up there in 5 or 6, one or the other. I can't remember, but yeah, you would think they would try and say, what are you supposed to do in that situation? It is definitely, if West Charlotte must have grew by about 1,000,
A bunch.
Yeah.
well, they're going to get at least 20 football players out of that, wouldn't you think? I mean, 20 football players that might not have played had they not grown that
Yeah.
much. Hook says trying to ice the North Lincoln kicker 3 times didn't work out for Wes Henderson last night.
No.
Well, that was not going to make any difference in the football game
Nope.
at all. So I was just a little surprised they did call 3 timeouts because it wasn't going to make any difference in that football.
No, it was, 30-7 at that
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, I just maybe one time, but
And he says having a good kicker is a weapon. There's no doubt
Oh.
that Dillingham's a weapon.
he really is.
Yeah,
Look
in more
at-
ways than one. Not just the field goals, but the kickoffs that go in the end zone.
Yeah, I got my stats here. He hit it in the end zone and forced Wes Henderson to start from his 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah, that's a weapon. No run back.
Phil says Irwin's quarterback, a left-handed quarterback, very strong arm, a D1 guy. they have a legitimate passing game. Better avoid that West Charlotte pass rush.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Better avoid that West Charlotte pass rush. Trying to see what this thing here. AC Reynolds scored 0 points. I just got this thing from Max Preps. Did you guys get messages that pop up from Max Preps? AC
Only
Reynolds,
for teams I follow. I get those.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
AC Reynolds has scored 0 points, while Dudley has 42 last night. I don't remember the last time AC Reynolds was shut out. That would be.
Yeah,
Was that the final? Was that the final?
Yeah.
42-0. Just tells you how good that this Dudley team is, because that AC Reynolds team is.
They put up a lot of points in games this year.
Yes, they did. So don't know where that was going, or I thought at first I had gotten that from somebody, but it was actually just an automated text there. So.
Here's one from Bob Duckworth. Speaking of AC Reynolds, they lost their QB, Max Guest, on the last drive last week.
They lost their QB to Crest about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, well.
So this is their next
It's their next quarterback then.
Yeah, and I think the guy you're talking about is their good running back, and they must have just had to move him to quarterback after their quarterback left.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I think they were running Wildcat. That might be
that's
one of the
probably
teams
it.
that,
it's probably because they had to
Coach
move their
Conger
running.
told me they were running Wildcat.
They moved their running back to quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, now West Henderson had lost their best running back last week, but I don't really think it would have been that much of a factor last night against the North Lincoln team.
It couldn't have been.
Hook sends me something here. It says, didn't know if you have seen the projected conference for next year. Just projection, though. No, but it is projection because their first meeting hadn't even happened yet, and it is first week of December. So
that's really just a guess.
Yep.
Is what it is.
Yep. So I'll throw this out there since Hook sent it to me. A 5A conference that would feature Lake Norman Charter, Lincoln Charter. It's a combo conference because you got 4As and 5As in it, more 4As than 5As. Lake Norman Charter, Lincoln Charter, East Gaston, Stuart Kramer, East Lincoln, North Lincoln, Hickory. So that would be a Gaston, Lincoln, and Catawba.
Yep.
And
how many
And
teams?
an Iredale.
and an Iredale. Yeah, I'm going to guess, and this is just me, my own personal opinion. That is a no.
I've seen a projection or a guess that had Crest in with East and North
Right.
Lincoln.
Yep.
All these projections that are going out on NC Preps, and it just boggles the mind.
Yeah,
'cause
I
we
have
don't
I have
know.
one in my mind. I've got Reedsville and Shelby, and who are some more powers around here that we'd like to see in the same conference.
Well, I want to see Reedsville in the East when it.
They
when
are.
all is
I'll
said
go ahead and tell
done.
And Shelby.
They are. Yeah, Shelby too.
We want
There
Shelby
is
in the
no
West.
doubt. There is no doubt.
How about Hickory? I bet some people want to see them in the East.
They want
There is
Hickory
no
in the
doubt
East.
if Reedsville winds up, and it looks like they will wind up in which class is it, Brett? The 5A, 4A,
No, Reedsville 4A. Yeah,
the
4A.
smallest 4A. There is very few teams that are east of Reedsville, maybe 20.
Yeah.
Maybe 20. I would say less that are east of them. And so they are going to go to the east bracket. As a matter of fact, there's going to be teams closer to here in that classification that have to play in the east just to make it full, unless they draw the lines first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here lately, that's the way they've done it. They've drawn the lines. They don't go by that longitude.
Yeah.
But
And I bet Reedsville. Well, I don't know. I don't say I bet they like it. Now there could be a lot more travel, but they're usually at home. So
they are
Changes.
usually
I
at
would say their
home.
road to the state championship is easier
It's
in
definitely
the East.
Yeah, don't you remember we looked it up a couple years ago? There was a time that any time they didn't make it was when they was in the West bracket.
Yeah.
Every time they got put in the East bracket, I think they were maybe 100% as far as getting to the state championship game.
And that's when
But
it
not
was
so
large
much
and
in the
small.
West. Yeah. Yep.
So no changes in latitude, changes in attitude. You're saying?
Wouldn't mind one, right?
Yeah.
A couple more before we take our first time out. One of you guys get your lyrics ready.
Right.
Let's see. Ned says, here you go. 8 points or less. Ned's already done it.
Yeah, how many did that add?
Not many. We only know of that one. 1 in 1A, 3. Boy, this is hard to read. 2A, 3, and all scores reported. Okay. There was a score not reported in 1A, so it might have been as well. That's what he's saying. 3 in 2A had 3, 3A had 3, 4A had 3.
Yeah, so just the Bunker Hill.
Yep, that's the only one that round up that way. 10 of 64. So 10 of 64 were one possession games.
Actually, 62.
With a couple not. 2 games today. 2 games
And
today. If you want to see
can
high school football, you can go
guarantee
today.
you Mountain Heritage won't be within 8 points in their game.
You know, if I had to guess, the Watauga game won't either.
I don't think
that
so
one
either.
could be.
But who they play?
Mallard Creek.
Yeah.
Watauga,
it could. But I'm
Watauga
just
can
saying,
stay within 8 of them.
Yeah, no, it's just like, though, I think percentages would say it wouldn't be either, whichever team won. It's just, Phil says you're correct. All the projections and directors haven't even met. Dana will go to Chapel Hill. That's Phil's wife.
Superintendent of Jackson County School.
She'll go to Chapel Hill versus a Zoom call. So
There you
actually,
go.
they're gonna be in Chapel Hill.
Zoom it.
Jason says West Charlotte has grown due to the constant new construction in their school zone. I live in the West Charlotte zone, just within 3 miles of my home. There are 3 completed new developments, and there is a 4th under construction now.
So that whole area is being revitalized.
See, I thought maybe they moved the lines or
Yeah.
something is what made all that happen. But here we go. Thank you, Jason, for letting us know.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
New development.
I'm not going to say what
of
Bob
people.
Duckworth said. What's the cause?
Yeah. Okay. We'll take a break. Who's got lyrics? Mike?
Go.
Go.
Go ahead.
Let me see here.
Is that part of your lyrics?
I'm ready if you need to do it.
Okay,
on
one
the
line's all you
Okay.
got. Saturday night, it was downtown.
That is a tough one. Back here in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Klunger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner's mission is to earn their patients' respect and trust through the commitment and positivity, and offer the dental solutions in a professional environment to improve oral and overall health. The practice will be accepting new patients. Just call 704-735-0765 to schedule an immediate appointment. We can provide services like extractions, crowns, bridges, fillings, night guards, cleanings, and deep cleanings, sleep apnea appliances, partials, and dentures. We can also advise determine a treatment plan for dental implants. Dr. John Klunger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner, 904 Doncha Drive, Lincolnton. Call 704-735-0765 to schedule your appointment and experience the dental profession in a warm and no-pressure environment. I'm telling you, the apple didn't fall far.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
It's time to get ready for spring. Time to head to Full Throttle Power Sports and 95 Trailers. Test drive an ATV or side-by-side today. Full Throttle Power Sports carries CF Moto, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, and Slingshot. And check out the trailers with brand names like SureTrack, Iron Bull, and Triton. Stop by or give them a call at 704-833-1270. Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com. They deal in fun.
Hi, folks. This is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever-changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincolnton. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us here on a Saturday morning. We have spent the first quarter there on high school football. Hadn't even went through the scoreboard yet, but it was just so interesting. And, you know, I mean, monumental upset. I mean, that just always gets my attention. And, you know what? The first thing I thought of whenever that score was final last night is those two studs on that team won't win the state title in their senior year.
Boo-hoo.
And
they're juniors.
Huh?
They're juniors, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harrison and Neal.
Then they might win it in their senior year. I thought they were. I was thinking like they were seniors. A lot of people don't know this, but those two, they're really good in two sports.
Yeah.
Okay. Harrison and Neal. Give me the first names. They slipped my mind.
Deontay
Neal
and Kendra Harrison.
Yeah. Kendra Harrison.
One's about 5'7", and the other one's
7'5".
Yeah,
6'8". Yeah, he is a big kid, but
and I'd rather have the 5'7" one on my team.
Would you? He can do a lot.
Yeah,
of
he just
things.
does everything.
Yeah,
he played quarterback for him this year.
Yeah.
He's their best defensive
and
back.
he's a really good basketball player.
Yeah,
point guard.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's a really good basketball player.
Now, if it was a college
well.
team, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I would want the size
Yeah.
if it's a college team, but.
But guess what? Now I'm sitting here thinking of what my point was. Why I was bringing those. There was a reason I was bringing those two guys up in conversation. I do remember why now. A lot of people may not know this, but those guys would remind you of college athletes playing an extra year. They reclassified.
Yeah.
After middle school. Because they wanted to play all 4 years at Reidsville, and that was the COVID year. So they reclassified, stayed back a grade, so they would get to play 4 years. That's how dedicated that program is. Think about that. I mean,
well, what's weird is one of them left.
Yeah.
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 Before this year, but came back
for a drink of water at, what was it, Providence Day?
Yeah, Providence Day.
Yep.
Yeah, and he probably just got there, was there a while, and realized he wanted to be home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it had to do with money. I think he just missed Reidsville.
Never know.
Yeah. Well, you never know. His reason was, though, it has a way to give his family some money that they wouldn't be getting, you know. And you can't fault a kid for that.
No.
You know, at all. And honestly, I don't fault him for going back either.
He could probably graduate high school early and still go to college early if he wanted to. And he would be the right age.
Marty says Bunker Hill's first score last night looked like an illegal play. Receiver came off the sideline, lined up outside the numbers. You know what I remember about that? I don't know if you guys were with me or not when we went and watched Asheville and Concord play one year.
I didn't go to that.
They did some kind of play like that, and it went for a touchdown in that.
So, he comes off the sideline.
Yeah, but I don't know all the rules and all that kind of stuff. I don't know exactly what you do, what you have to do. to report in. You
Yeah.
know, my guess is you can't just like stand on the sideline and right for it snap. You know, get out there.
I think so.
Because that would be a good trick play.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know exactly what the timing is there. Do you have to be in the huddle before you can be? You know, 'cause some teams don't even huddle, so
don't.
you can't have to be in the huddle.
They just stand around, look for the play from the sideline, and there's no huddling.
Yep. Brett noticed a huge flaw last night in rules in high school football because we're not trying to criticize either team here. We don't want to say anything about either team. It's a rule thing, and it was that by virtue of North Lincoln having too many men on the field, they got more time on the clock to try a field goal.
Yep.
Who did that? Some
So
pros
yeah,
really
it happened in the pros just a few weeks back.
Yeah.
It happened, and they changed the rule the next week. The NFL amended the rule.
NFL did, yeah.
Yeah, right in the middle. But last night it happened in high school football. So every team out there that wants to stop the clock and don't have timeout, just put too many men on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of comments from former officials. Link Pauley have to be within 15 yards of the ball when put in play.
They have to be within 15.
Yeah, Randall Davison, it's illegal.
Wait a minute, say that again.
You have to be within 15 yards of the ball.
15 yards, okay.
When put in play.
Okay, when it's snapped.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. What else you got?
Randall Davidson, you have to start out inside the numbers.
Let's start inside the numbers, and then you can go in motion and go out. Okay, that makes sense too.
Link calls it the sleeper play. This is a good name for it.
Yep. Okay, well, Marty's correcting himself now. I got that wrong. He came to the huddle and then sprinted out toward the sideline. Maybe he sprinted out like he was going to go off the field, but stopped before. And there's nothing wrong with that. As far as I
I've
know.
seen that before.
Yeah.
Lined up outside the numbers. Yeah. I don't think there's anything. There's nothing wrong with that. The officials can tell us to make sure, but I think as long as you are in the huddle, you can sprint like you're going off the field and then just slam on brakes at the last minute.
Well, we see people go in motion all the time, and offenses.
Yep. But yeah, that rule about the too many men on the field, that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
that needs to be fixed. I don't know.
Well, Lane calls it a stupid play.
Well, now you're on a totally different thing now, I think, because I'm on the too many men.
You're on the
field.
too many men on the field.
Yeah. You should not be able to.
Or I just think the defense should be able to decline.
And we don't even know if they did it on purpose.
No, I don't think they did.
I don't think
they were trying to get off, and North Lincoln was trying to get the snap off before the clock ran out.
Yeah, some players
they might not even realize that was going to help them.
A couple,
a
couple linemen were shooing the guys off the field.
Yeah.
Get off the field. Yeah.
Yeah, they just couldn't get their substitutions in time to get the field goal unit on the field.
It moved him back 5 yards, but with the leg he's got, that didn't matter.
Yeah.
That didn't matter. What did he hit, about a 40?
45.
45? Yeah, 45
Yeah, and what a story he is.
He can nail it.
I remember doing a story on him last year for the Times, and Coach Basil just kind of found him, and he wasn't even a football player.
Right.
Coach Basil just kind of discovered him. He was playing soccer, and, well, the rest is history. He'll now probably go somewhere in kicking college, I'm sure.
If he wants to.
Yeah.
Isn't he a real good soccer?
Yeah, he's also good in soccer.
Yeah, real good soccer player as well. Let's go through these. While we're on the subject of high school football, we'll do some of the other stuff last if we need to. But the first one that pops up, Phil Ayers has already told us about it. Irwin last night, 35-14 over Smoky Mountain. Mooresville over Northwest Guilford, 27-10. I will try my best just to hit on West scores, except for this one. Mike's Cape Fear team last night, 29-7.
Max Cady is celebrating
over CB Aycock. Cape Fear a winner, 29-7. Hickory rolled over Statesville this time by a score of 42-7. Burns got caught up in that Monroe home nightmare last night. Bedlam. That'd be a good name for playing at Monroe, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Monroe, 56-14, and I mean that in a good way for Monroe. I don't want Monroe to think I mean that in a negative way. I mean That's a tough place to play.
It's really hard to beat them there.
They're really good at home. Monroe 56-14 in that one. Weddington 35-12 over Sun Valley. Crest 35-7 over Oak Grove. That one was coming in as reported the other way for a while last night, and we just kept thinking, you got to be kidding. And then we found out the scoreboard was kidding. It was Crest that was in the lead in that one, and Crest goes on to beat Oak Grove 35-7. West Charlotte, better watch out for them. 60-3 last night over West Rowan. Wilson Prep over Kip Pride 36-8. Cherokee and Eastern Randolph. Eastern Randolph a winner 42-0. Northern Guilford over Marvin Ridge. Here's one of those Ned games. I'm going to call them the Ned games. Within 8 points.
And that one Marvin Ridge led the whole way. I thought
really?
Marvin Ridge had won.
Yep.
It's like Northern Guilford scored
late
2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win it.
28-24 Northern Guilford. The wide receiver that plays for the Bears.
Keenan
Allen. And don't they have another one? Don't they have somebody else that's in the NFL from Northern Guilford?
I don't know.
It seemed like there were 2. Maybe I'm wrong. We will go ahead and throw out there, since Mike mentioned Brian Hanks this morning. Kinston a winner last night over Southeast Alamance, 26-13. Rocky Mount and 71st. 71st I want to bring up because that's the team that Hickory defeated last year in the state championship, the 3A state championship. 71st. I think they're still undefeated, aren't they? Didn't they finish the regular season undefeated?
Yeah.
56-14 last night over Rocky Mount. Forest Hills ends Randleman's season 38-21. That's a team we hadn't really talked about much, Forest Hills, but hey, they could make some noise. If with them being on the top, was that a road game for them last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randleman was the home team and went down. Dudley over AC Reynolds 42-0. Robbinsville defeated Bessemer City. I don't have the numbers in front of me. The score's not on there.
Wasn't it 19-0?
Is that what
I think
it was?
Mine says 7-0 on Max Preps. Obviously incorrect.
That was early.
Yeah.
West Stokes defeated East Surrey for a second time. That's Coach Lohman, Trent Lohman, beating his old team for the second time this season. West Stokes 35-21 in that one.
Yeah, East Surrey had 11-game home win streak snap.
Independence and Huff, never saw this coming. Number 2 against number 8 in North Carolina rankings. 47-3. Huff a winner over Independence. That's just a huge margin in that game. Does that make Huff your front runner for 4A? It's loaded.
It's hard to say.
It is just loaded, you know. Mount Airy over Mountain Island Charter 35-14. Corvian Community over Mitchell County 42-6. Scotland County 38-35 over Terry Sanford. Got to throw that one out there because I always like to give Scotland and Richmond the long tradition teams there. It was West Forsyth and East Forsyth matching up. Again, another blowout amongst the county rivals. East Forsyth 56, West Forsyth 19. I knew East Forsyth had the better team going into that game. Didn't know they were that much better, though. I will say that.
Well, they just beat them in the last game of the regular season, and it was a lot closer.
Yeah.
Let me see.
That happens a lot, don't it, in the high school playoffs?
48-42.
It seemed like the second meeting is always, just like Hickory.
Yeah.
Last night with Statesville. You know, not near as close as that first meeting. J.M. Robinson all over Kings Mountain, 41-14 last night. Kings Mountain, over the last several years, they just struggled in the playoffs. Once they hit the playoffs, it's a struggle for them.
They usually get past a round. They don't ever seem to get past the third round.
It was Havelock over Western Alamance, 49-6. Walkertown and Salisbury. This had to be maybe the low-scoring playoff game of the evening. 12-6. Salisbury a winner over Walkertown. I think both those teams are pretty good, though. I'm not saying they're not good just by not scoring points. Probably really, really good defenses there, and I think both of them are somebody to watch out for moving forward. Grimsley last night over Southeast Guilford, 58-21. Murphy over Christ the King, 21-11. East Wilkes over North Rowan, 33-30. Maiden shut out by Shelby. Nothing to be ashamed of when it's Shelby. 28-0 last night. Shelby in that win.
I really did think Maiden would put some points on the board against Shelby.
Yeah. I guess the big difference there is that Shelby has the lineman up front to match
Maiden's line.
to match Maiden's size on the line as well.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't scoring in a flurry. It was just, it might have been one touchdown a quarter that Shelby got. I mean, it was that spaced out. But what was it at half, Brett? Was it 14?
It was 21.
It was 21?
Yeah.
Okay. But, defense played superior. I know Maiden knocked on the door one time, had it at the one and turned it over. But I think that was in the fourth quarter even. But good season for Maiden nonetheless. Yeah. And Shelby,
they won
I'm going to ask you a question at the end of the scores. I got a question I want to ask you guys at the end of the scores.
Was that 8 or 9 in a row for Shelby? I can't remember.
Good question. Starmount over South Stanley, 37-13. The coach that went to Starmount was there for a couple of years, got the program turned around, and now he's –
it was Greg Lloyd.
Greg Lloyd, yes.
Greg Lloyd.
Yeah.
Now he's at Crest.
And now he's at Crest. Still coaching in the playoffs right now, but his former team is as well. And you know what? That's good for Starmount. I think that's really got their program kick-started again. And I consider, if you go to the third round, to me, I know it's 6 rounds, but I think I consider that deep in the playoffs.
I do too.
If you get to
the third round.
Yeah, and you will be practicing on Turkey Day.
Yeah.
Ashbrook, I don't know how they do it. They did it again. They pulled off the win at South Point. I think both those wins this year were at South Point, right? If I'm not mistaken. The first one was as well. Maybe I'm wrong. I know this one was.
Max Prep says the first one was at Ashbrook.
Okay. Well, Max Preps, I promise you, knows more than I do. Butch says their running back didn't play last night again. Roberts for Maiden had to sit out again.
Kendall that hurt.
Yep, injured a couple weeks back and did not play last night. Yep, you need all horses on deck when you play Shelby, Reidsville, and some of those guys like that.
He's a big back. He's been their main guy all year.
Richmond County 24-13 over Clayton. That's Richmond beating a team that is ranked higher than them, although they were the home team. That's how weird this stuff works, which just means Richmond was a conference champ and Clayton probably was not. Mm-hmm. Is the only thing that does that for you. Cleveland High beat Ashley 21-3. North Lincoln, we've already talked about. This score is wrong on here. It says 30-7, but that thing wound up, what was it, 54-21. 54-21. A lot more scoring. And I hope the rest of these finals are correct.
Yeah.
And these two come in last. It was Bunker Hill season ending. A great career for Jason Willis Jr. comes to an end for Bunker Hill. Brevard wins 37-29, and many others at Bunker Hill as well. Seniors that had good careers up there, but Brevard wins on the road 37-29 over Bunker Hill. And then the shocker of the night, East Rutherford rolling into Reidsville and winning 27-26. And so my question I told you guys I was going to ask after I give all the scores, who's the favorite now to come out of the 2A West?
Shelby.
You think Shelby is the one?
Yeah, they got home field. They're the highest seed left.
Yeah, number 2.
You still got Monroe in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
An explosive team, that's for sure. But now Monroe, we figured it out. They're a lot better at home. They may not be this year, but history would say they're a lot better at home than they are on the road. They struggle a little bit on the road. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, Ned says it is 9 in a row. 6 shutouts in that 9-game win streak for Shelby, including last night. So you would pick Shelby if you're sitting down picking. Tell me what the matchups are going forward. Do you have them in front of you, Brad?
Well, let me see if
in that 2A.
Let's see. Let's go to this. I have to go back to the bracket when it first came out, and then see who's won. East Rutherford will be at Brevard, which is a conference.
Yeah, it is a conference rematch.
Yeah, it is.
Brevard win the first time?
Yeah, 24-21, and they held.
How about that?
They held the East Rutherford running back to, I think it was 30-something yards. The one that had 220 yards last night.
Wow. That's a rematch, and it will be at Brevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forest Hills will be at Salisbury.
Okay. See, that's the two teams we really don't know enough about.
Yeah.
But they seem to be in this position every year.
Yeah.
It'll be West Stokes at Monroe.
Wow.
So
okay,
I think they can challenge.
I was going to
Monroe.
say, if there's any coach out there that can take his team in there ready for what's going to happen, it might be Loman.
Mm-hmm.
And then Community School of Davidson at Shelby.
And we don't know what to think of Community School.
Can't say.
This thing could be a 1-point game, or it could be a 30-point game on either side. I mean, that's just, we don't know what. It's hard to get a handle.
So Shelby and Monroe both win. They'll meet in the round
semis.
after that. Yeah.
Okay, tell me this.
In the fourth round.
Tell me Community School of Davidson's 2 playoff scores. Last week it was pretty bad.
They beat
over
Bandy's. Was it 42-7?
It's pretty bad, yeah. And last night was
something to 7. It was
like a lot to 7, or
yeah, similar to last week.
So can they hang with Shelby? See, that's the question. We really don't
Yeah,
know. We do not know.
I would guess no, but I don't know.
I would guess no too, but I wouldn't have guessed they beat Bandy's as bad as they did. So
yeah, I don't remember you
the
saying
unknown.
there's. Oh yeah, here it is. 30-7 last night.
30-7
over Mount Pleasant.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And of course, Mount Pleasant squeaked out one over West Lincoln in the first round.
And that was 10-7
Yes,
at the end of the third quarter last night. And Community School of Davidson scored 20 in the fourth.
Oh wow. Well, that's when it starts. We talked about you have to do things you wouldn't normally do to get back in the game, and I'm taking it that's what happened to them. I'm gonna read a couple things. I don't think we gave your lyrics, did we, Mike? We're gonna.
Well, you haven't.
We're gonna go back to those in just a second, so be ready. Let's see. Lenny said in the early commit in the way to early commitment era, which means nothing this day and time. Keandre Harrison has set November 30th. As his announcement date. Any idea, Brett?
I've read a lot of speculation. Oregon.
That's
what I've read.
If it quacks like a duck.
I think Carolina and Tennessee are also high up on his list.
Well, Lenny's got Oregon on here. Kendra Harrison has set November 30th as his announcement date. Being only a junior, that means nothing.
Yeah, what are the odds that he goes
where he commits?
to?
That's why you don't print them. You don't even think about putting them in the paper or anything.
That's just
I would
social
say,
media fodder.
I would say getting close to 50% now change their mind.
Yeah.
50% of all athletes will change their mind. Maybe higher than that. Being only a junior, that means nothing. Kids today will change their mind from breakfast to lunch. I hear the flavor at the moment is Oregon. Yeah. I'll put it this way. I would go to Oregon because I think I would really like that part of the country.
You would.
And I also think I would really
I think
you'd be playing for a fun
I think
program.
he wants to play both sports.
Does he?
And I think
it's so hard to do at that level.
Both sports, you mean there's only 2?
Yeah, well, both of his sports. He's not playing tennis and golf.
Change their minds means money.
Yeah.
In all cases.
Good. Yeah. Well,
Good.
Hey,
Sure.
Who wouldn't this day and time?
Yep.
Ned says Shelby and School of Davidson, Community School of Davidson, 30-7 last night was, like Brett had said, was their
That'll be
score
an intriguing game just because
in
we don't
win.
know that much about community school or their athletes. Or
I think we feel like in 3A, Hickory's still the favorite. Hickory's the team to beat. 2A, you guys kind of settled on, or Brett settled on Shelby.
In the West.
I don't know if you did or not, Mike, but Brett settled on. He said Shelby. Shelby's got home field the rest of the way.
Yep.
If that means anything, I mean, I don't know if it does. Or not.
It means they don't have to go to Monroe.
Yeah, it does mean that. That helps a lot. 1A, Mount Airy.
Yeah, but I think
in doubt with 42 straight.
There's going to be a game next week with two 12-0 teams.
Okay.
In 1A and in 3A. In 1A, Eastern Randolph and Corvian Community.
Right.
Both 12-0.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a good matchup.
The 3A game is Dudley and J.M. Robinson, both 12-0.
And on the 4A, who's the favorite?
Oh, I don't know.
It's loaded,
There's
right?
Grimsley, Weddington, Huff.
It's hard to ever go against
East
Weddington.
Forsyth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
But Huff was
That's
just
loaded.
so dominant last night.
They
Wow,
were.
Huff-
That was
Huff-
impressive.
Huff was dominant last night.
Wedding-
4A is the hardest to predict.
Weddington defending.
I think
champ.
4A is always the hardest to predict because so many good ones. Go ahead and give your lyrics there, Mike. We got a couple people that did guess them correctly.
Saturday night, I was downtown working for the FBI.
Yep, and that
Sitting in a
is-
nest of bad men, whiskey bottles piling high. I love those lyrics.
Sound like a good night.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was just trying to read here real quick. I've gone through so many texts. Phil Ayers, Hooks, myself. I think Brett got it as well. And the name of that song is
Lone Cool Woman in a Black Dress.
by
The Hollies.
The Hollies. Yep, really great group. One of the most underrated, to me, one of the underrated bands. Seems like I say that every week, but they are one of the
And
underrated
of course,
bands.
named the famous former member
Yep.
of the Hollies who went on to fame with another band.
Mr. Nash.
Mr. Nash.
Yep.
Graham Nash.
Graham Nash. So I'll give mine now, and we'll leave Brett's for last. I am ready with mine, and then we're going to take a time out while our hearts beat like thunder. We'll be back with more sports talk in just a moment.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where two or three have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other. Fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
The game is about to start.
What the?
You finally put the kids to sleep.
Sweet dreams. No, the battery.
Your dinner guests will be here in 5 minutes.
Not now. Oh.
Mr. Sparky electricians are around the corner and ready to help. Call Mr. Sparky today for any electrical need.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Zeus Auto Repair and Performance at 1122 South Aspen Street in Lincoln now have 4 North Carolina licensed state inspectors on site. Need automotive work? They are the best. Oil changes, brakes, car detailing, and suspension work. You'll be in and out before you know it. Stop in and see the guys at Zeus Auto Repair and Performance at 1122 South Aspen Street in Lincoln. Hours of business, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 704-240-3061. Zeus Auto Repair and Performance.
Notary services available on site as well.
Welcome back. Beautiful outside.
Oh yeah,
maybe
it's
cool, but
crystal clear, no clouds.
But you can expect the wind to blow. It's been a windy, 3 or 4 days.
It has been last 2 days.
Yep. Phil Ayers, correct on the lyrics this morning. My lyrics this morning. Let's see. Yes, I love some of the stuff that I'm not going to mention this yet, but some of the stuff that Ned put in here. But Ned is also correct. He added some more lyrics, which are really good lyrics because they mention Sam Cooke, if that helps you any at all. Let's see. Yep. And Lenny got the artist right, but said he can't think of the name of the song.
What's the lyrics?
We're going to give the lyrics one more time here. While our hearts beat like thunder. That was the ones I gave. The second line, I don't know why they don't explode. Give you a hint. This hint will help Brett more than it will anybody else in here. I've seen him twice in my life, and if he comes around again, I'm going again. If he comes around again, I'm going again. Got it now, Brett? You got your hands in my back pockets.
Yeah, now I do.
And Sam Cooke playing or singing on the radio. Love that line. And Sam Cooke singing on the radio.
Line.
It is, yeah. Yep.
I've got a guess on the song, but I'm not sure if it's the right song. I know the artist. Does it start with ain't?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. English teachers love the way that song title starts. Don't they, Mike?
I'd have to put a red flag beside that word. I don't get it.
The guy's changed his last name a couple times.
I'd give it away for sure. Yeah. Yep. And has had some, let's just say, fine-looking girlfriends along the way.
Changed his name along the way.
Last
One
name.
of his favorite vacation spots was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
And in one song, it's the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
In one song. Meg Ryan. Does that help you, Mike? Who was the other one, Brett? His first wife was
I'm not sure about that.
His first
I
wife
didn't even know Meg
He
Ryan.
wasn't married to Meg Ryan, but his first wife was considered a supermodel. But I can't think of her name right now either.
I'm hung up on the changed his name thing.
Cougar. Does that help you any?
Oh, yeah.
Does that help you any?
That helps me a lot.
Okay. Tell me.
John Mellencamp.
John Mellencamp. Ain't even done with the night.
Ain't even done with the night.
I could have went with a more popular song. Made it easier, but
for some reason, they got your hands in my back pocket. That line gave it away to me.
Phil Ayers.
That is a great
Phil
line.
Ayers is my encyclopedia this morning. Elaine Irwin.
Oh, I don't even know her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was, Dan Patrick talks about some of the guys that have had it made with their supermodel, and he always mentions Mellencamp with his. But
the name that came to mind for me was Christy Brinkley, but that was Billy Joel, wasn't it?
That's Billy Joel. Yep, that's Billy Joel.
What's your favorite Mellencamp song?
My favorite Mellencamp, Little Pink Houses, is my anthem. Yeah, okay. I mean, I just don't think it gets any better in music, period, than the lyrics of Little Pink Houses. That's just, you know.
Well, Jack and Diane. Yeah,
I like that one. I like that one, but see, some of my favorite ones are. What'd you say, Lanny?
Can it be a cover?
Yeah.
Nah, I know what you're going to say there. You're going to go with the Van Morrison song.
Yeah, he did a great.
He did.
How about I Was Born in a Small Town? Pretty good.
Small Town's good, but see, a couple of mine are like Cherry Bomb. I love Cherry Bomb, and there's another one that's very similar to that. Slipping my mind right now, but they're all good. They're all good. He's really good to see in concert if you've never seen him.
I just love the way he is always about never forgot his roots and small
he's
town.
an Indiana man.
Indiana man.
As a matter of fact, he's been showing up at Indiana football games here lately.
I don't blame him.
And
10-0.
How about that lead in?
Yeah, not a bad one.
Indiana going to Indiana's going to play the 2024 national champion, world famous Buckeyes today. And that is my pick from the beginning. I think that was Brett's pick from the beginning. Am I right, Brett?
My pick. Was it my pick?
Was it yours?
I don't think
I know one of you two also went with me in picking Ohio State to win.
I think I might have had Georgia beating Ohio State.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. Nobody hopes that I'm wrong more than me.
I bet there's some people up in Michigan that
yeah, except for those that lived in the state up north, as Butch would call it. But nobody hopes that I'm wrong more than me, because I'm just not a Buckeye
I'm not either.
fan.
No.
Ryan Day actually gets on my nerves quite a bit, you know, and just in some of his actions. But he's a good coach, and it's a good it ain't even good. He's a great coach, and it's a great program. And I still think that they are going to be your national champions when it's all said and done. Who are, at this point, where are we in the playoffs? I've not caught one of these shows yet. Where they rank. I don't even know when they come on. I'm guessing
Tuesday night.
It's okay, no wonder. I was guessing Monday night before Monday Night Football. So they don't do it till Tuesday night.
That's right. They even did it on Tuesday election night, as I recall, because that was a Tuesday night.
Well, that would have been much better, more fun to watch, right, than election coverage or anything like that.
I don't pay much attention to it yet. I mean, although we are getting down to the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Have you got them, Brett? Have you? Were you trying to pull them up?
Yes.
While you're doing that, I'm going to read something here from Ned real quick. It has nothing to do with anything, it doesn't look like. Random thought. Shout out to the college cheerleaders for showing up in the cold for the game day show hours before game time with that cheerleader smile on their face. Now, I don't know when he's talking about.
When's he talking about? We haven't had.
This morning?
Well, it's not.
It could be this morning somewhere.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
We don't have access to that. Lanny won't put his television in here.
We got a 75
What if I be at
inch
my
coming.
back? I'll have to get a mirror.
Well, are they at Indiana, Ohio State? I mean, that seems like the obvious choice.
It could be. Yeah. Here's your question of the day. How bad does Ohio State beat Indiana today? Give me a spread. I don't think any of us.
I'm going to go 21.
It's in the horseshoe, right?
It's in the horseshoe.
I'm going to say 10.
I'm going 20.
20.
I'll say 31-21.
Yeah. I'll say they win by 28. Ohio State by 28.
No knock on Indiana. They've blasted everybody they played.
I'll say it again. Nobody hopes I'm wrong more than me.
Me too.
No.
Yeah, but this one doesn't matter for Ohio State. They don't. They don't have to win.
Okay, what margin of victory will still keep? What margin of loss will still keep Indiana in the playoffs?
I'd say under 20.
Think they're still okay if they lose by 19?
Yeah, they might move down to the 12th
because it's just
spot,
going to be one loss.
but-
You got to remember
yeah.
that
That's
by
right.
a team ranked ahead of you.
That's right.
You know, I mean, it's not the killer loss unless
Well,
you just,
Ohio State has one loss.
Unless it's
it
just
was to
ugly.
Oregon.
Yeah.
And Ohio State's ranked second in the playoff.
right. They should be.
So,
I mean, they really should be. They lost to the team. Is Oregon still won
Yeah.
after that
Yeah.
near
Yeah.
loss last week? Who was it that they played so close last week?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Egg Cap Randall.
But, you know,
It's
I
tough
know.
to win
Right.
there.
Hey, to me,
it don't matter. They're 11-0.
well, that's what I say. To me, a win's a win. I
Yeah.
don't care in college
don't-
football,
no.
especially if you're on the road. I don't care what you win by.
Right.
A win is a win.
I would feel better about Indiana if it was in Bloomington. It's just Ohio State. That's tough.
Got a great comment here by Lenny back to the Mellencamp thing. He says, can't beat Mellencamp lyrics anytime.
No, very good
And he
lyrics.
said, then he mentions Rain on the Scarecrow. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
And it's about, he supports
He
farming,
does support.
the farmers, and he always has, and he does all that stuff for nothing.
Yeah.
He does those
He's-
benefit concerts for
Yeah,
the
I've always
farmers
wanted
for
to go to
nothing.
one of those
Farm Aid.
Farm
Oh,
Aid.
that would be awesome. That would be awesome to go to.
Hurt So Good, my favorite.
Even if they had
Hurt
it in
So Good,
Ohio,
yeah, that's a good song.
Even if they had it in Ohio, I might go.
Ohio. I don't know about Ohio.
I was trying to think of the other song that's similar to Cherry Bomb. I'm drawing a blank now, as I normally would. But the song I was trying to tell you guys that check it out. That's it. Check it out. I like that song. You know that one?
Yeah.
Yes. Now Columbus, Ohio, temperature 40 to 45 degrees is what Ned says, and the cheerleaders are out there. He said smiling. Good morning, STG, Monty Mossteller, the
Monty
late
Mossteller.
riser.
Ooh.
Late riser
You
this
barely
morning.
call her out.
Paper and Fire. My wife says Paper and Fire. That's a really good song too, by Mellencamp. He's just a good performer. Good performer, good singer, and
I'm trying to remember any
true
hits
American.
he had as John Cougar Mellencamp.
Well, Jack and Diane.
But that was then.
Yeah, and you know, Little Pink Houses. All those
Yeah.
those early ones were before he changed.
Okay.
Before he changed his
I
name.
was just
And I
wondering.
like the fact he changed his name back. They recommended he went with Cougar because it was more catchy than Mellencamp, but
Yeah.
once he got established,
Doesn't matter.
he went back to his original name.
Well, here's the top 12.
Okay, that's what I'm waiting for.
Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State.
Stop just a minute right there.
Those wouldn't be the top 4 seeds.
Okay.
Because you got to be a conference champion to
Gotta
get
be
the
a
top 4
conference
seed.
champion. Right.
Those are just the top 4.
Okay.
ranked.
I was just going
And-
to say, how many of those do you expect to be in the Final Four?
Well, let's name all 12 first.
Okay. Well, I just meant those 4 teams.
Oh.
Out of those 4,
Oh, those 4?
I think 2 of them will be.
I don't
for sure.
expect Penn State to be there.
No, Penn State will not be.
I could see Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas all in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yep, I could.
Yep.
Now, it could work out where
One of 'em probably
2 of them
won't.
have to play each
Yeah.
other, and one of them gets knocked out before. But Indiana's at 5, Notre Dame,
Wow.
Alabama, Miami.
I'm wowing on Indiana, not so much Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 Indiana schools in the top 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football state.
Miami's at 8, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Boise State. That's the top 12. Now, there is going to be a Big 12 team in it,
Yep.
most likely. That's not guaranteed, though, right?
But there's got to be a Big 12 champion team.
But I think they have to meet a certain criteria.
Oh.
Do they?
I think so.
I thought it was.
They,
4 conference
They-
champions get the 4 first bye.
they have to be
If
good.
they meet a certain criteria.
See if you can find that.
I don't
know
think.
about
I think
criteria.
if a conference champion's like 7 and 5,
Yeah, they're not
they
going to
don't.
take that.
They don't get in.
They're not going to take that. Yeah, that would be. That wouldn't need to get.
Yeah, there is a certain criteria
Okay.
that a conference champion has to meet to
I like
get
it.
in.
I like it. Yeah. Number 1, you can't be from the Big 12.
Yeah.
Is that one of them? Sorry, Mike.
So BYU.
Hey, we're no longer in the
I
Big
know.
12.
BYU's at 14.
That's your fault.
know.
Colorado's
I
at
agree.
16. So most likely one of those will win the Big 12.
That'd be great to see. Dion and his crew in the playoff.
So if you look at it this way,
How many SEC teams did you name?
Tennessee is at 11, So if it ended right now, they wouldn't get in.
They wouldn't get in because of the conference champions.
Because that Big 12 champion is going to pass them, and Boise State gets in as the non-Power 4. So Boise State.
How many SECs did you name? That Texas,
Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia. If it ended today, those 4
So
would
Georgia
be in.
would make it. And they got 3 losses?
They got 2 losses.
2? Okay, 2. Yeah. Real quick before we go any further in this discussion, Phil Ayers says, I need a lover. Now, I think he's talking about a Mellencamp. I'm just kidding.
So.
That's a really good one. That won't drive me crazy is the second part of that.
Won't drive me crazy, yeah.
Ned Yates says, red point spread for Ohio State versus Indiana is 10.5. And the over-under is 52.
Oh, I'm right on that. I said 31-21. That's that's right at 10.5 and 52.
Butch says, met Mellencamp and Meg Ryan one morning at the Mellencamp Center when Kevin Wilson was a Hoosier
That's
guy.
right.
Now, he put Hoosier, but I know he means Hoosier. Nice guy. I figured he was a nice guy. One of the best things I've seen was when one of the CBS women did on CBS Sunday Morning. They did a story on him, and he had the what's the lady's name is on there forever? Jane Pauley.
Jane Pauley.
I think it's Jane. I had her riding on the back of his motorcycle with no helmet with him.
All right.
Oh yeah. Hud Mellencamp played football for Duke. I remember that. That's John's boy.
Okay.
Hud Mellencamp.
Hud.
As a matter of fact, 2 of my favorite artists had kids at Duke at the same time. And that was Mellencamp and Springsteen. Springsteen's was a daughter, right, Brett? And she was an equestrian. She did equestrian.
Here's a trivia note. HUD was also the name of a movie starring Paul Newman.
HUD?
Yeah.
Yeah, HUD.
Well, so you asked and answered the trivia.
No, I just said here's a trivia. Here's a trivia.
A trivia fact.
Fact.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Don Revel says, do you penalize a team for losing in the conference championship game?
You shouldn't. I mean, I don't know. What do you mean by penalizing, too? Do you kick them out? Do you
Well, say Georgia makes it and loses, and then that's their 3rd loss.
Yeah.
I don't think
where
they'll
they
be in.
were
I don't think
in,
they'll be in
but
it.
I don't think they'll be in.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that,
or Ole Miss. I mean, same thing. Tennessee. Any of them could make the conference championship and lose.
And you think about it, the committee's human. So what do you remember the most human, the most recent? You remember the most recent. So if you lose that conference championship,
so
game,
who's got the best win in the SEC? Was it Georgia over Texas or Ole Miss kicking Georgia's tail? I don't know.
I think there's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Georgia's win. They won at Texas pretty easily.
And Ole Miss was at home against Georgia.
Tell me where I need to be highlighted, Lanny. He's got here the college football will introduce a 12-team bracket right in here. The 4 highest ranked conference champions will be seeded, numbers 1 through 4, and receive a first-round bye. Seeds 5 through 12 will play each other. The higher in the first round. Are you trying to prove Brett wrong? Is that?
There's no other requirements, is what I'm saying.
Because I can't. That's what I'm looking for. Is where it would prove Brett wrong.
That there's other
If there's
criteria.
75, it doesn't matter. If they're conference
If
champion.
you're conference champion. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's flawed.
Yeah.
What I heard was you had to be ranked so high.
Do you?
If you were a conference champion, you still have to be ranked so high or something like that.
Yep.
It just takes the 4.
Because I don't want to see a 7-5 conference champion get in over an 11-1 team that
No.
finished
Yeah.
second.
I don't know.
That's the NCAA tournament stuff when it don't matter because you got 64.
That's right.
And I'll treat it the way I do the NCAA tournament too. I'm sorry, but when it gets right down to the nitty gritty, I want the best of the best.
That's right.
I want your blue bloods in basketball and football.
You
That's what I want to watch play.
Yep.
I really do. Let's see, the schedule 24 and 25, schedule, first round. Okay, so December 20th would be your first round of playoffs, and it all ends on January 10th. So that's good, too, because it's still not that much later.
No.
About the same time the season has been ending.
If it ended right now, Oregon, Texas, Miami, and BYU would be the 4 teams with buys. They would be the 4 conference champions.
And the weakest team out of that, to me, is Miami.
No, BYU.
BYU. I'm sorry, I missed BYU. Yeah, you're right. BYU. They'd still get a bye after losing the other day?
They're still the highest-ranked Big 12 team.
Okay.
Now, they're going to have to win a Big 12 championship
and
game.
who would that likely be against?
I think Colorado.
Okay.
I hope so. That'd be a great
So
one.
could Colorado move into one of those
Yeah.
top 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something in Deion's last year?
And Iowa State might still have a chance at that. I'm not sure.
So that means you think he's going to become Dallas's head coach?
I didn't say Dallas.
Oh.
You did.
Right. But a head coach somewhere else.
The Raiders could be a possibility for him and his son. Think about that. You know, they're
Okay,
going to get to
that's
draft
right.
a
He's going to be a
quarterback
number
early.
1 draft pick.
And then
Deion will not go to Dallas, and I'll tell you why. His son will not be the quarterback.
No.
The quarterback there is locked up for the
Locked
next
up.
6 years or 8 years, right?
Dak Prescott.
That's the reason
right.
I don't think he would go to Dallas.
Good point.
He wants to coach his son.
I just didn't Colorado just sign or at least get a commitment from a really highly ranked quarterback?
He flipped from one to another. You know,
if Deion leaves, he's not sticking with Colorado. He's going somewhere else. But that makes me think Deion's staying.
Well,
unless some great offer comes along.
Okay, if you ask Deion today, are you staying at Colorado? You know what I would say if I was D1? Absolutely. Because nobody's offered me anything yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, my plans are to be right here. You know, I'm not going anywhere. But then whenever that NFL offer comes along, and you have a chance to say we're going to draft your son, we're high enough, we're going to draft your son with our first pick. Who's not going to do that?
I read something the other day I didn't like, and that was Marcus Freeman could be moving to the NFL.
Really?
That there's
Notre Dame head coach.
teams interested in him.
Well, he's only been Notre Dame coach for what, 3 years?
And he flat blew a game. Was that last year?
2 or 3? I think it was his second year.
Premature.
There was
what
a
is
game
he, 35,
last
37?
year or so. There was a game.
He's in his 30s.
He let get away from him a year ago or so.
Well, of course, Northern Illinois is the famous one.
Yeah, they lost to Marshall.
Marshall
last year.
Marshall. I don't know.
Jason says the national championship game is set for January 20th. Colorado got the number 2 player in the country, Julian Lewis, to flip from Southern Cal. I bet Jason is very happy. Flip from Southern Cal to Colorado, and I'm joking about Jason being
I got to
happy.
ask Jason what he thinks of the resume of Lincoln Riley after 3 years.
He about in the same boat you're in, Mike, with
Venables.
Yep,
yeah.
Yep. It hadn't been what either one had hoped for, either school had hoped for
Not at
up
all,
to this point, I would say.
Yeah, you start to look seriously after 3 years, and they're not getting it done.
Yep.
Although I think both of them will be back next year.
Yep.
Southern Cal's 5-5. They got UCLA and then Notre Dame. They could spoil Notre Dame's season.
Well, Oklahoma's in danger.
But so could Army.
Oklahoma's in danger of not going to a bowl for the first time since '98. A string of 25 straight years in the bowl, something like that. They're 5-5 too, but they got Alabama and LSU to close the season, which
And they got to win one.
You got to win one of those, and I don't think so.
Jason says Riley has not lived up to the hype. USC can't win a game outside of Pacific time zone. So there you go.
In Riley's
Sums
defense,
it up.
they can't hold on to fourth quarter leads, but that's all about coaching too, I guess. But they've lost so many games in the fourth quarter.
Maybe he and Venables need to be on the same staff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'd take him back as an OC.
You got a defensive guy and you got an offensive guy if you got them both on the same staff.
I'd love to have him back as OC.
Yeah.
I really would. I mean, he is a good offensive mind. There's no doubt about it. I just don't think he can do the whole thing well.
Just reading here, trying to go through the headlines real quick on ESPN. If there's anything worth mentioning, the first one's about Embiid.
He's out again.
Out again, yeah.
But guess who came to the rescue?
That's not news.
Jared McCain, rookie.
Oh, he's been awesome.
Yeah.
Purdy and Bosa out of the 49ers next game. They just lost to Seattle last week in San Francisco. This is the worst 49ers team we've seen since.
Well,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're pretty bad right now.
Snake bitten in so many ways with injuries, just everything.
It's going to be weird watching the NFC playoffs without the 49ers and the Cowboys.
It will be.
In it. That just seems odd. But Detroit is the new powerhouse, it looks like, in the NFC. Allen to start at quarterback.
Who's Allen?
I don't know.
Brandon Allen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Brett's dog. He always wanted a dog named Allen.
How do you spell that? Allen?
On this one you do. Who is that, Brett?
Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen.
We know it's not Josh.
I never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
But there's so many journeyman quarterbacks, we really don't know.
He's 32. He's out of Arkansas. Drafted in 2016 by Jacksonville in the 6th round. He's played for Cincinnati and Denver. Yeah, that's about all I got. He started some games for Cincinnati, I guess, when Burrow was out a few years ago.
I just saw the headline of the year.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a clue. This is just a great headline. Listen to this. Reds land singer from Royals for India. And Weimer. But that is
good.
that
The singer India trade.
Yeah, Reds land singer from Royals for India.
Yeah, singer.
That is great. So you got a whole country
Yeah.
that's getting traded in this. And a singer. That must be a really good singer though, if they're getting traded for an entire country. Hey, whoever put that one together is a genius. That's great on the headlines there, because it's one of those things. Hey, I got to stop and see what the heck they're talking about here.
It's almost worthy of a New York Post headline.
It is. Duke with a big win last night, 69-55 on the road at Arizona. We got home so late last night. I think I saw about the last 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I saw about the last 10.
Had it on. I'm not even going to say I saw it. I had it on while I was getting ready for my 3-hour nap.
Big night from Cooper Flagg. I think he had, 24, 26?
Yeah. Is there a trap game today for Ole Miss? They go to Florida.
Yeah, that is.
Florida has kind of resurfaced a little bit.
They saved Billy Napier's job.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah,
probably did.
Yeah, it could be a trap.
I just happened to look at that one and think, man, this is you play in Florida at the wrong time of year, because all of a sudden they were terrible, and all of a sudden now here they have looked like they could, and they're at home in the swamp.
That's right.
With that game playing that would make their season. To eliminate a rival from the playoffs. That game says it's at 12 noon. Also at 12 noon, Illinois-Rutgers. Is that everybody's top game to not miss, Illinois and Rutgers?
Yeah.
Kidding there.
You look all down the schedule in football today. It's just nothing really jumps out at you.
Indiana-Ohio State jumps out at me.
Yeah, that jumps out.
Yeah, I gotta at least keep up with it. I don't have to see it, but I've got to at least keep up with it.
Here's a game you got to watch: Colorado at Kansas. Kansas is capable. No, but for Colorado's sake,
keep an eye on it. I'll say, I might keep an eye on it.
Penn State, Minnesota, nah.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Texas, no.
Kentucky's been a disappointment. I thought they would be decent after the year they had last year.
It's just hard to sustain.
Yeah. Real quick before we take our final timeout and get Brett's lyrics, late thoughts for today's show. Unbeaten Army versus Notre Dame, Yankee Stadium. Then one more home game plus the conference championship game before Army-Navy. Navy only has one game at East Carolina this coming Friday. Maybe Army gets beat up some and Navy pulls off the upset. That's what Ned is hoping to see. Lenny says, I'm not knocking Texas because I think they could be in the Final Four, but they haven't played but one ranked team all year.
Yeah, they've gotten the easier SEC
and they
schedule.
lost. He said the only ranked team they played, they lost. Georgia. but that's not their fault. The SEC made the most of the schedule. That's the problem.
And, when they went up there and beat
conferences.
Michigan in the beginning, that looked like a big win, but we know that Michigan's mediocre this year.
Yep. I think Michigan has played well for a young team at times.
Yeah.
But they are in
if you look at
rebuilding
Texas'
mode.
schedule before the season, it looked a lot tougher than it
Well,
turned
that happens
out.
to a lot.
'Cause they beat Michigan, they beat Oklahoma, both on the road.
Yeah, and both those teams are mediocre.
They beat Florida. They still got Kentucky and Texas A&M. Those teams just a lot of them didn't turn out as good as they usually are.
Who stands a better chance to lose today? Penn State at Minnesota, BYU at Arizona State. That's two ranked teams.
Arizona State is on.
Colorado at Kansas.
That's a possibility.
Which one of those you think has a better chance to lose today?
Arizona State is favored.
Are
over
they?
BYU.
I'm going to pick Arizona State.
Yep.
Over BYU.
I'll throw this one in there too. Alabama at Oklahoma.
Not a prayer.
Not a prayer. No.
They just can't score enough.
Yep. Texas A&M at Auburn. Auburn's been a disappointment this season. Texas A&M still ranked 15th. They must have 2 losses. Do they have 2 losses?
Yeah. One thing about Alabama, the Schooner horses, they've had a lot of rest this year because Oklahoma can't score.
The wagon's not
the
turning
wagon's
over.
not turning over.
It's not coming around on 2 wheels.
Nope.
Anytime soon.
Because they're not even going out on the field because they never score.
USC at UCLA. Upset or no?
Would it be one? I don't.
Cross
I don't know what
doesn't matter who
UCLA's
wins.
record is.
Yeah, they haven't been real good. They haven't been real good this year. Who's their coach now since Kelly up and bolted to the?
I don't know.
Where'd he go?
I
The
have
Eagles.
no idea.
I don't know that either.
Didn't he go to the Eagles to be the OC? He went something. No, he went to another. He went to Ohio State to be the OC.
Yeah.
He went to Ohio State to be the OC. Who's better, the Ohio State or the Eagles?
How about Texas A&M and Auburn? Any chance? It's always a chance when you're on the road.
Texas A&M at Auburn. Yeah.
Auburn's mediocre, but
A&M bores me. Why is that? A&M absolutely bores me.
Yeah.
I can't watch them.
A&M only a 2-point favorite in that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, they're just not. They're not that good. They do play Texas next week.
Hey, how about this one? Charleston Southern at Florida State.
How about Duke going for its 8th win?
I didn't hear.
At home
I didn't hear
against
many
Virginia
comments.
Tech.
SMU, they got a chance to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Let's
Yeah,
not
they
leave
do.
out SMU
No.
out of the ACC.
They can still win the
SMU,
conference.
They go to Virginia today. You know what? That's one place I really wouldn't want to be going when I've got a chance to make it because Virginia plays spoiler quite often, it seems like. Let's see, one more real quick, and then we're going to take our final time out. We're going to hear Brett's lyrics. With the conferences being expanded, there will be several teams. This comes from Jason. Several teams playing unbalanced schedules where the teams aren't playing the cream of the crop in the conference each year. That's true.
That's
Mega
right.
conferences. This year, Indiana
It
and
can't happen
Texas
every year.
have been benefactors from their schedules,
He is
Indiana
correct.
and Texas. But you know what? You got to take it when it comes around. You got to take because you will pay the price
Eventually.
Yeah, you will pay the price eventually for having that.
Like Oklahoma in their first year has one of the toughest SEC schedules.
I'll put it this way: no matter how it works out, it's better than picking 2 teams to play in the national championship.
Yeah, there's going to be flaws. There's gonna
at least
be
we know
flaws.
there's going to be 12, and number 13 is going to be disappointed.
Yep.
But not as bad as number 3 would have been.
Nope.
Back in the day, and even with the 4-team playoff, number 5 had an argument every year. So now at least it's further down the list. And if you're down that list, you probably don't have a chance of winning it anyway. But I think some of the 5th seeds would have,
Is Ole Miss playing for its playoff life? If they lose to Florida, that would be their 3rd loss, correct?
Yeah, they're out if they lose.
They're out of it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our final time out. But Brett has some lyrics that I'm going to get right here. Probably not.
With a purple umbrella and a 50-cent hat.
Oh, my goodness.
I know the group.
Back in a moment.
So.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Stop by Lowe's Home Improvement in Lincolnton for their great deals on items you use around the house. Need to update around the kitchen? Then shop a great selection of appliances and some up to 30% off retail prices. Buy Craftsman's 20-volt max battery and get your choice of matching Craftsman cordless tool free. Update your workshop area with a wide selection of shop tools, only $99 each. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Shop Lowe's in Lincolnton for the things you want to buy today.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. One more time, Brett, on those lyrics.
With a purple umbrella and a 50-cent hat.
That's a great beginning.
And I want to know the next line.
Well, it says two of the words in the title.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Can't do it.
Yeah, you can.
I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
living, loving,
Yep.
she's just a woman.
Yep. Yep. So where does the title made? Why is made in? Is that right? Made part.
Living, loving, made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Made.
And I don't think it says made in the lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Short for made.
But this is often played on radio stations. They'll play the song Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. Yeah.
And then play Living,
right.
Loving, Made
You're
right
right.
after.
It
and
does seem like the songs are.
And it just
meant
flows
to-
right into
It does.
Living, Loving, Made.
Yeah, it just kind of moves right to Heartbreaker.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do know the song. I mean, but I could not have got the. I couldn't have guessed the song off the beginning.
Well, it's not easy to understand what he's saying.
Exactly.
So
That's exactly it.
That's one of the reasons I chose it.
Right. Yep. Yep. Brett, the big Led Zeppelin fan.
As am I.
Yep. And didn't is
all metal, all hard, heavy rock stems from Led Zeppelin.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah.
One of the three greatest bands
Can't
I
to
agree.
ever
one of the three
live.
greatest. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you might as well throw out those other two because you got everybody
knows.
wondering now.
Everybody knows.
Beatles,
Yeah.
Stones.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So
right.
so basically,
It's all British, baby.
you're ranking them third.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you were ranking them
I
higher,
would.
you would have said one of the two greatest or the greatest. But since you said one of the top three, then I'm guessing that you're ranking them.
I would put
ranking
them
them
third.
I'd rank
and I
them
would
third.
too. Anybody that has followed music forever.
Well, the Rolling
and ever
Stones
like
have
we
the
it's the Stones and
LeBron-like
the-
longevity.
Yeah, it's the Stones and the Beatles. Yeah. Yeah,
and,
they
and,
do.
and you know, in the Beatles for that 7-year period, nobody has done anything like that.
Yep.
All what they did.
And they put out a ton of music in that
Yeah.
short amount of
What was
time.
it, 13 albums, 12? I can't remember.
The Beatles are the greatest band.
Yep.
Yeah,
in music history.
There'll be people that would argue it, but guess what? It's
Well, just their impact on pop music.
Yeah.
I mean, and rock music. I mean, if you listen to rock and roll in the early 60s, some of that stuff, and then they
yeah.
just
How many people
blasted
tried
it
to
out.
copy them?
Oh, yeah. Everybody.
Hundreds of bands tried
Oh,
to
yeah.
copy
Are
them.
you kidding?
Yep, they did.
Yeah.
Hayesville at Mountain Heritage. That's 4-7, going to 9-0. Mountain Heritage today. That game is listed for 6 o'clock. If you're heading to a game, or you can go to Boone for a 6 p.m. kickoff as well. 9-2. This could be interesting.
It'd be much more competitive.
9-2 Mallard
Mallard
Creek, and 11-0 Watauga. That's Watauga getting to host one of the Charlotte powerhouses there. That will be
Now, Ballard Creek
rolling in.
defeated Lake Norman, I believe, in the first round. Handedly.
If you believe that, I'll believe you because I do not
think that's
remember. I do not remember.
Well, I follow them because my granddaughter goes to Lake Norman.
I just know that Lake Norman has a terrific men's basketball team.
That's for
We have
sure.
found that out.
Yeah, 3 D1 prospects allegedly.
Yeah, 3 to 4. We're
Yeah.
actually hearing. So that's a.
Well, I know one's a Clemson commit,
Right.
And he's at least 6'10".
At least 6'10". Yeah. Something that's never been said about any of us. But next week, I just wanted to do this. While we've got a few minutes left, next week we could talk about West Charlotte going to Asheville, Irwin, Forest Hills visits Salisbury, Northmore at Wilson Prep, West Craven at Northeastern. That's one of the games down, obviously, in the eastern part of the state. Catholic at Grimsley. Think about that. That's a marquee matchup right there. 9-2 Catholic at 12-0 Grimsley. Gates County at Pender County. Community School of Davidson at Shelby. Robbinsville visits Murphy. Kinston at Aden Grifton. Crest at Hickory.
Yeah.
Man, if you didn't have a game to be at and just got to choose,
that's what I'd want to see.
that would be a highlight game. That would be one of the better ones to go see. Crest at Hickory, 2 strong programs, 2 really good teams this year. Hillside out of Durham at Cardinal Gibbons. It is Roseville at Richmond County. Speaking of good matchups, that ought to be a good one. 11-1 against 10-2. West Stokes at Monroe. West Stokes with 2 losses on the season, but I'm telling you, I think one of those to Mount Airy, if I'm not mistaken. That could be a really good game. West Stokes and Monroe. Northern Guilford visits Weddington. Mooresville is at East Forsyth. Combined 23-1, the 2 teams. Mooresville with 1 loss on the season. Ashbrook at North Lincoln. That's where we'll be. That ought to be a really good game as well. Ashbrook winners over South Point twice.
Yeah.
South Point's only 2 losses.
That's a lot of.
I'd say it'd be the best
credibility.
defense North Lincoln's faced.
Oh, yeah.
In a while. At
Evidently. If they're able to get those wins over South Point. James Keenan visits Wallace Rosehill, North Brunswick at Fayetteville 71st, Eastern Wayne at Whiteville, Jordan at Cleveland, Starmount and Mount Airy. They played earlier in the year, right? That's Starmount's only loss.
Yep.
They played earlier in the year. Wow. And here they go at it again, this time at Mount Airy. I think the other one might have been at Starmount. East Rutherford Brevard, speaking of rematches.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody saw these 2 meeting in the 3rd round.
No.
Not with Reidsville standing in the way. Congratulations, East Rutherford, the biggest win of this Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest win of this Friday night. Tarboro and Warren County, that game will be played at Tarboro. They play quite a few home playoff games down there in Tarboro. Scotland County at Havelock. 7-5 Scotland County going to the third round. Getting hot at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
J.H. Rose at SSEAS. Anybody?
SSEA.
Southern School of Energy and Sustainability.
Oh, that's what I thought it was. Lakewood at North Duplin. Dudley at Robinson. 24-0 combined in that Dudley and Robinson game. Cape Fear at Jacksonville. Millbrook, we might send Mike to Cape Fear to give us updates on Cape Fear, or send him to Jacksonville, actually. Millbrook at Hoggard, Corvian Community at Eastern Randolph, and then, of course, the games that are decided today, those winners will be playing as well in those two games we mentioned a little earlier that will take place today. Before we go, I'll try to get these last couple comments in. Ned says, winner plays Huff. I guess he's talking about that Watauga game.
Mallard Creek winner.
Yep. Hooks says, great broadcast as usual. Have a great weekend. You too, Hooks. Look forward to seeing you next week. Lenny says the Beatles have to be the greatest band of all time. Also, look at what all those artists did. I'm going to say the word individually instead of singularly.
Yeah,
McCartney, it's a little easier to say
Lennon,
after they split off.
Harris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing about the Beatles, they had 4 lead singers.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones have 1.
That's right.
You know, if you think about
Although there have been a few songs along the way sung by Keith Richards.
And I do not make it a point to hear those. Yeah.
Happy for one thing.
Yep. Yeah. He was happy. he has always been happy.
Yep.
Final thoughts? Anything in your mind on sports?
We didn't discuss the NFL.
Be patient on those realignment things. They'll come. They will come in due time.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about the NFL?
Nothing. Just the fact we didn't say anything. But see.
Do you want to see Detroit and Buffalo in the Super Bowl? Two teams that have never won it. Detroit's
really
never been to a Super Bowl.
I really would.
And Buffalo is 0-4.
I would love to see those two.
That would be great. That would be. The only thing is how sad it would be because one of them's got to lose.
Yeah.
One of them would have to lose.
Buffalo, my God, the four times to the big game and didn't win it. Yeah. Sentimentally.
NFL is always my favorite because there's so many upsets you just can't predict it. No. Just ask Pittsburgh what happened in the snow a couple nights ago.
That's right.
For Mike, Brad, I'm David. Thanks for tuning in this morning. It's been fun. We'll see you next week on Sports Talk.